Hello everyone. In this video I'd like to show you how I make sushi. I'm gonna make three types of sushi today. I'm in the Philippines now, and there are two common types of fish that I can eat raw, which are tuna and malasugi. So I'm gonna use this fish. I prepared this fish, marinated it in advance. You don't have to, but it's better. So what I did, I added soy sauce. I mixed it with sesame seed oil, and then I cut the fish in stripes like that, and I marinated it for. This one was marinated more than a day, but you can marinate it just for 3 hours. That's enough. Just make sure you do it in the fridge. So for sushi we will need seaweed, nori sheets, Japanese rice, short grain rice. You can replace it with any starchy rice, but the taste is going to be a little bit different. So I prefer to use Japanese rice. So if you have access to this one, use this one, or replace it with any other short grain rice. Actually, it's not gonna matter. Avocado, lime, and cucumbers, eggs, and maybe some other additional things. Oh, by the way, we will need some equipment. In this case, it's makisu. This one is plastic, so I don't have to cover it with clean wrap. But if you have a traditional wooden makisu, yeah, you will have to cover it with a clean wrap. So yeah, let's start by cooking rice. This is a delicate thing to do. The ratio is 500 grams of rice to 550 grams of water. It may seem like too little, but trust me, it's gonna be fine. So I don't have scales now. I'm eyeballing it, but it's okay. I've done it many times, so I know the approximate volume I need to use. You gotta wash the rice 4 times. So you start washing it once, then you rinse it and drain the water, and just repeat it 4 times. So I washed it 4 times and I poured enough water. If you don't have scales, the way I define the amount of water is by putting my finger till the level of rice, and that's one piece of finger, that's enough, one part of finger. If you have rice cooker, use a rice cooker. You don't have rice cooker, that's fine. Just use a pan with a thick bottom. So put it, set on the fire. Put it on the fire. After it boils, after it starts boiling, cook it for 10 minutes. Then turn off the heat and leave it under the lid for 10 more minutes. Yeah, you're gonna to use the lid all the time. Don't open the lid in the middle. It's really important. So 10 minutes after it boils, then turn the heat off. In 10 more minutes, just keep it like that, and the rice will be done. Nori sheet, dry cutting board, fold it in twice, like that. Make the line. Sharp knife, put it here. Voila. Then separate. There are 2 different sides. There's sharpie side, there is this flat side. We're gonna put rice on the sharpie side, on this side, so make sure you flip it like that, because you're gonna use it like that. So this flat side, this slidey side should be on the bottom. Eggs, we're gonna make an omelette. The lowest heat, a bowl, beat them to a bowl, crack them into a bowl, and just mix it with a whisk. No salt, no pepper. You're gonna use soy sauce while eating sushi. Just beat them until they're completely homogeneous. The eggs are ready. As you can see, they're completely homogeneous. There are no knots. And I lift the whisk. So let's make an omelette. Non-stick pan, it's a must. For a good omelette you must have a non-stick pan, there's no way around. A little bit of oil, silicone spatula, never use metal spatulas with non-stick pans. Distribute the oil and the very thin layer of egg. And a little thicker, probably do. And just keep it on fire. 1-2 minutes, then I'll flip it over. Okay, it's ready to be flipped over. You can just slightly rearrange it like that. It's not really perfect because there are some holes in it, but it's the first one. So after just a few seconds on the second side, I can flip it on the plate like that. Clean the pan and repeat with the rest of the omelette. So when you make an omelette, you can slightly trim it like that, the spatula, because we don't need all this length, and we need it to be shaped kind of rectangular. So as you can see, it's better, even if I have some rough holes, it's not gonna be a big deal. So this is not a perfect version of an omelette. It's just an adapted way of making an omelette at home without special equipment, which I don't have. But if you want to have perfect Japanese omelette, you got to have a rectangular frying pan, and you can just pour the omelette eggs inside and just fry it at low temp for a while, then remove the heat and keep it like that. It will be perfect. So in my case, I don't have it. That's why I'm showing you this simplified method. Next, we'll need lemon zest, lime zest. If you don't have a rasper, like I don't in this case, so you can use a knife. Got to be sharp, and you can just do like that. Very slight cuts. Trying to cut only the green parts. Just like that. Then repeat with the rest. So the end result is like that. And just cut this lemon zest in very thin pieces. Next, avocado. Yeah, this one is a little overripe. That's fine. Yeah, you can use just bare hands to remove it from the skin. I'm gonna put it inside, so the shape is not really that important. I'm gonna cut just these pieces like that, and that's it. The rice has been cooked for 10 minutes. I turned off the heat and I leave it here under the lid for 10 more minutes. Next, cucumbers. Cut off the tips, the edges, and cut it in half. And here I got a little trick for you. Take some toothpicks, put it like that on the cutting board. I don't know if you see them. So they're like this. If you need a really thin slice, you can't use a vegetable peeler for that. It should be a bit thicker, and you just Move the knife, very sharp knife, along the toothpicks, pressing the cucumber to the cutting board, and you get this nice thin slice. Relatively thin, we don't need them to be too thin. So just like that. The rest of the cucumbers, the remnants, you can cut like that. Yes, we got a few stripes of this, and now we can just cut those in kind of brunoise. And julienne, I'm sorry, I meant julienne. Not very thin, not very thick, just like that. Next, seasoning. So for 550 grams of water and 500 grams of rice, you will need 55 grams of rice vinegar, mitsukan. You can, if you don't have it, you can find it in stores. Just replace it with a regular 3% vinegar, apple vinegar, any other vinegar. Just make sure it's 3%. 45 grams of sugar. You can use brown sugar, you can use white sugar, doesn't really matter. 5 grams of salt and bonito flakes, which I don't have. And if you don't have them as well, you can replace it with nourish it. And if you don't have it as well, or you're not gonna use it like me, just don't add it. It's gonna be okay even without bonito flakes. It's just with bonito flakes it has more flavor. So again, at the moment don't have scales, I'm eyeballing, but it's gonna be fine because I've done it many times already. So I'm adding mitsukan, I'm adding salt, I'm adding sugar, a lot of sugar. That should be enough. Then you bring it to a heat. Doesn't have to boil, but maybe 80-60 degrees, so all the sugar dissolves. So and prepare for the rice. 10 minutes have passed. The rice is fully cooked. Then you get a bowl. Well, if you have this Japanese wooden bowl, white bowl, that would be better. But yeah, don't have it. And if you don't have it, like me, you can use just a metal bowl. It's gonna be fine. Try to take the one with the biggest surface area. In my case, this is the one. So it's pretty hot, so I'm using a towel. Just gently replace the rice to the bowl. As you can see, the rice is very, how to say, shapy. So it's not overcooked, it's not water. If you add too much water, it's gonna be like transparent, which you don't want to have. Then you start pouring the seasoning gradually and slowly on the spoon, on the vessel, if I can say, probably. No, not vessel, it's rather a spoon for mixing. So then you start mixing, distributing the seasoning all over the rice, just like that. So while the rice is still hot, it can absorb all the flavors from the seasoning which you really need. And yeah, if you add the nori and bonito flakes, you will have to remove it before adding to the rice, the seasoning to the rice. So yeah, and then cover with the towel and set it aside for a while. You can use a fan to ventilate to cool it down, but it's not really mandatory. And mix it every 3-4 minutes, so the seasoning is evenly distributed. Next, let's prepare the cucumbers. Top layer for sushi. Clean wrap or plastic wrap, whatever you call it. Some cucumber slices, some of them thinner, some of them thicker. Let's distribute them this way. And I see this one is too thin, so I'm gonna add one more here. Then we get our lemon zest, flavory, very nice and flavory. And yes, that's it. I'm gonna set it aside, put it on the plate. So, mise en place for the first type of sushi. Malasugi, marinated malasugi, cucumbers, avocado, nori, cooked rice. This is water, pure water, and we add just a little bit of vinegar. You can add mitsukan, but I just don't want to waste it. Mitsukan is too expensive, so you can just add any vinegar. In this case, it's a cane vinegar. So, take a nori sheet, place it with this side on makisu, add just a little bit of water on your hand, spread it. Take 120 grams of rice, of prepared rice. It's not 220, but I know how it looks. I mean, I know it I can eyeball it. Distribute it on the nori sheet, leaving just one edge without rice. At the same time, this edge should have some more rice, so it should protrude a little bit. Distribute it without pressing it too much. Then flip it over. Up, just like that. Add some avocado, few stripes of cucumber. For crunchiness, it's just a little bit of water here. And roll. Try to press it inside so the shape is even. Press it a little, too much. Then add the fish. In this case it's malasugi, but you can replace it with salmon if you have it at home. In the Philippines salmon is pretty rare, you can't catch it here. And press it a little more, just like that, and voila. The next one is with malasugi inside and cucumber. So again, nori sheet, 120 grams of rice. There's less than 120, definitely. Distribute. I'm not very experienced with distributing the rice. I bet Japanese professional chefs do this way better, but still my way works. So eventually the rice is distributed. Little bit of malasugi here, little bit of cucumbers for crunchiness. Roll it, I mean close it, close the roll. Pum pum pum. Voila. And then we add this nice and beautiful cucumbers with a plastic wrap. I'm trying to unwrap. Actually I can do easier. I can just put it here. Boom. Then I can put the entire instruction here, and just close it like that. Oh. And it's probably not gonna hold up, to be honest. Yeah, it's not gonna hold. So yeah, I can definitely tell it's not gonna work. Apparently my mistake is that I cut the cucumbers too thick, so this is not gonna work, but that's fine because I can improvise and replace it with something else. For example, I can take this thin slice, this thin slice, do it like that. It's the first time when I'm making this cucumber rolls. I watched it on the internet before. I didn't try this variation, so that's why the empirical way show that it's not gonna work. Okay, yes, this one is not counted. This one is not gonna work, so I'll just replace it with something else. Okay, I did a little experiment and turned out that I should have cut them thinner. So right now I cut the slices in twice, these slices that I had, and as you can see now they hold up, they're round, but there is one thing, you will have to put a cling wrap before cutting them, so you will have to cut them in cling wrap. I will show you, but basically yes, when you make slices, cucumber slices, don't cut thinner than I showed. These toothpicks will not work. You will have to cut it with a knife, with a very sharp knife, trying to make it as thin as possible. That's the conclusion. And the last type of rolls is malasugi with cucumbers and omelette on top. So 120 grams of rice. My rolls turn out to be very thick. I like them this way, but if you don't like thick rolls, you can add less rice. Just make sure to distribute it evenly, so your roll will close easily. So if you don't add enough rice and don't distribute it evenly, it will not close. It will be very sad. Yep. Oh, this beautiful malasugi and a little bit of cucumbers, crunchy and fresh. And close it here. Up, up. Ta-da! And this piece of beautiful omelette. Again, it's a homemade version, simplified version of Japanese omelette. Of course, it's not like perfect, but you can make it at home easily without special equipment. So, and yes, that's the last type of roll. Okay, now it's time to cut. Just the first type with omelette. You can slightly water the knife so it slides through this roll easily. And you cut it in half and in 3 parts. Cut it in 3. Don't press it too much, just try to cut it. And you can get this nice sushi. And that's the first type. Then the cucumber, my experimental one. So you keep the clean wrap on and just cut it. Like that. Let's see if they hold the shape. I really hope they do. Okay, we remove the wrap. Oh, yeah, they do hold the shape. That's what you have eventually. Yeah, basically when you cut the cucumbers, make them very thin. You gotta have a sharp knife to do this, but it's possible. And then the last one, malasugi. Oh, don't want that. And then 3 pieces. And they try to escape, but I don't let them. Oh, voila. This one. So that's it. So there you have it. Nice and simple sushi plate of 3 types. You can vary, you can make different types of sushi. I like to make them with shrimps, fried shrimps for example, or with crabs if you have crabs. Yeah, basically that's the simplified version. Again, guys, it's not a really professional way. Like, I know Japanese techniques. I learned them. I worked in a Japanese restaurant for a week. I mean, I had a training there, and I've seen how Japanese chefs make sushi. It's totally different. They're way more professional and stuff. But this is my version, and I assure you guys they're really tasty, and this is one of my favorite dishes. Another thing, and that goes against the traditional way, but that's what I like. So I don't like eating them warm right after they're cooked. I don't like that. I don't like the taste. I like to put them in the fridge for 2-3 hours, and when they're cold they're much better, way tastier, again in my opinion. So just give it a try, compare what you like the most. Obviously in Japan they serve them right away and they must be eaten right away, but well, that's what I like. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you like this video.